failed the NCLEX 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I learned a lot, and I'm here to share it with you guys. If you're new to my channel, I am Nurse T. I am a labor and delivery nurse, but also I like to spread some news about like my educational journey and to help other people, especially you, if you're watching this. If you are not new to my channel, hi, I missed you guys. I haven't made videos in so long, but welcome back, okay? Let's get into things about NCLEX and how to pass the first time, because don't be like me, please. So part 1 we're gonna talk about is the real NCLEX experience, because a lot of people don't prepare you for the actual day of the NCLEX. So let's see, what it actually feels like on the test day is a lot of anxiety. For me, I was too calm. Like my first few times, I was way too calm, which is kind of crazy, but I got anxious once I got to the computer. So let's just walk you through it, okay? So when you get to your little testing center, take as little as possible, just because you're gonna have a locker. It's not a big locker, and like you have to put your stuff in there and all this other stuff. So I would definitely just take like your phone, your keys, and your ID, or whatever else you need to like check in. There is a lot of other students there. Some people are nursing students. Some people are like other like trade school students that have to take their test. So just get there about 30 minutes early, just to make sure that you're checked in and you get to your computer in time, and that you have time to just decompress as well too. Do not wake up rushing, because I would advise you not to take the test then. So what surprised me the most was that a lot of people flew through that test really fast. And that gave me even more anxiety, because I'm like, okay, why is my test not off yet? Like, why am I still testing? So if you find yourself in those situations, y'all, I would highly suggest, like, every 10 questions, stop looking at the computer and just breathe, because you focusing on other people is not going to be it. And I believe, for me, during my NCLEX, they offered noise cancellation headphones. Y'all, please utilize that, especially if you have anxiety or you like get distracted easily. I would highly suggest using those, just because you can like focus. Okay. Let's see how the adaptive format works. So a lot of people think that NCLEX is like a regular test. Get that out your head. It is not. So the NCLEX is more like an adaptive learning exam. So if you keep getting questions correctly, they'll get harder. And if you get those correctly, most likely your test is going to get harder and then shut off, because they're like, okay, you are basically an adequate nurse. Like, you understand the basics, basically. However, if you keep getting questions wrong, they'll give you more questions on that baseline of that level until you can pass it consistently, and then they'll increase the intensity of the question. However, do not be afraid if you do get questions that you've never seen material on, or that you truly do not understand, because there will be some sampled test questions. These sample test questions, and I'll explain it to you before you start your exam on the computer. These sample test questions are questions that they're testing to see if they're good questions to use for the next generation NCLEX, or just for the next person who takes it. So part 2 of this is what you should focus on. I have to think about it with my notes, y'all. So what you should focus on. Please, 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 y'all, please. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all this. Stop trying to memorize stuff. Stop. It's just not going to work. Yeah, you can memorize like, okay, potassium is 3.5 to 5 or whatever. Like, that's cool. But stop trying to memorize answers. It's just, you're going to fail. And that was my issue the first few times. I was like, okay, why am I not passing? But with the NCLEX, you have to understand your rationales. You have to understand why this is not the right answer, why this is the right answer, okay? So every time you do practice questions, which we'll get into later on in this video, you need to read your rationales. I don't need you to be like, okay, this is the answer, okay, next. No, read every rationale for every answer choice, y'all, because that way you can understand everything fully, not just one little itty bitty piece, okay? So also too, y'all, there's 3 things I want you to master while you are preparing for your NCLEX, okay? So the first one is prioritization. You need to understand which patient needs to be seen first, okay? In this sense, that's when you start thinking about your ABCs, okay? Airway, breathing, circulation. So do a lot of those questions. I know some resources you can choose to do a whole exam over this. I would definitely highly suggest that. So part 2 is infection control, okay? Are you washing your hands? Are you applying gloves correctly? Are you applying PPE correctly? That is a big one. I've had a lot of questions about that, especially prioritization, but infection control too. Now, last one, delegation, y'all. You need to understand what you can delegate to a patient, what you can delegate to like an LVN or a CNA or something like that, and what you cannot delegate. All right. I will have some resources on my Etsy shop that shows all these things, all these little tidbits and healthy ways to like memorize or do better with these little 3 tidbits. Okay, so mistakes I've made with my NCLEX was, like I said, not reading the rationales. Please read the freaking rationales. I don't know how many times I tell y'all. I tell y'all all the time on my Threads account too. If you're not following me on Threads, follow me at Nurse T. But y'all read the freaking rationales. I need y'all to understand everything, okay? When you look at a picture, do you look at the small piece of the picture, the right little corner? No, you look at the entire picture. I need you to look at that. I need you to look at your NCLEX question as a canvas, y'all. Paint the picture, okay? Think like a nurse. Think like a nurse. All right? Also, too, I understudied. The first few times, I completely understudied, y'all. I was like, oh, well, I was in nursing school. Like, I don't need to do practice questions that much or, like, really sit here and study for NCLEX. Like, we passed nursing school. I mean, what, you know? No, y'all. You need to study, okay? Yeah, you passed nursing school, cool, but let's get this NCLEX together, too, because in nursing school, you don't receive tests that are adaptive tests like NCLEX. So it's important for you to make sure that you practice how to take a test like that, okay? And then also, too, learn how to manage your test anxiety. Like I said, I gave you a little bit tidbit in the beginning of this video. I cannot talk today. In the beginning of this video, y'all, for me, it was every 10 questions, just take my hand off the computer and just sit there and just breathe for a few seconds and then get back to it. I understand that the NCLEX is timed, but if you take time to breathe and to calm yourself down, the less questions you have to do. So like I said, I failed NCLEX 3 times. Y'all, like, yeah. 1, I'm a bad test taker, but 2, like, you have to truly learn yourself. And I think that's what you really have to deal with in your nursing journey. You're learning for yourself and for your patients. And you're learning about yourself. You're building a new you, to be honest. Tips for future test takers, okay? Y'all, before the exam, the day before the exam, please make sure you take a rest day. Take a self-care day. For me, I did like a little massage and I just chilled and watched my little comfort shows, okay? That is okay. Do not cram. Please do not cram, okay? Also, too, y'all, I love practice questions. I highly suggest practice questions. If you are rereading notes, that's a no-no. Unless you truly just do not understand, like, you saw a question and you was like, I don't understand anything about this, then that's okay. But to just sit there and reread all your nursing notes, you're not going to pass. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep it real with you. And then also understand how to eliminate wrong answers. So for me, I was always taught to look at every answer choice as true or false. And that way it can determine if it's the right answer or not. So yeah, if you're not following me on Threads, y'all, because I post a lot of tips and tricks for the month of April. If you're not following me, you're missing out on a lot of stuff, especially because other nurses like pitch in sometimes. So yeah, I have a couple things coming up for you guys too. So if you have made it this far into my video, congratulations. I really hope and pray that you guys pass your NCLEX on the first try. And if it's your second or third try, look, you're gonna pass that too, okay? Just don't be like me and not learn from yourself, not learn from the mistakes you've made, okay? So with that being said, in order to do so, I would highly suggest that you click on my Etsy shop. I will link it down below. That way you guys can have all my nursing notes, all my NCLEX notes, and even if you're a HESI taker too and you're still watching this, I have HESI notes. And for the month of April in 2025, it will all be 50% off, okay? No promo code needed. I'm only doing this for you guys, okay? So click the Etsy shop, look up some notes, do practice questions, okay? At least 100 a day, at least. And I will see you guys soon, okay? Comment below if you have any questions or if you have any tips for other nursing students that helped you out in your NCLEX journey, okay? I will see you guys next time, and bye for now.